get started, I'm going to type out the title sequence. And it's going to be a very simple title sequence. Rough surf. You could choose the different types of fonts for this and all the other information about this graphic underneath graphics. Go under edit. And then from there, we could pick out the type of font. I think I'm going to use either Helvetica or Base Arial, but Helvetica is fine for me. I want something a little more bold so it's easier to see. I'm going to scale up the font by just dragging, or I could just click and just type in the number I exactly wanted. To center this out on the screen, I could use these right up here, vertical centering and horizontal. Okay. Now, it looks a little off only because my screen isn't set to fit. I can see it where I can make this a lot bigger. I'll just drag it up and then repeat vertical center and horizontal. And that's the text I'll work with. I'll stretch out the existence of the text in the timeline. And let's see where we went to. Let's say this is going to exist for roughly 10 seconds of glitchiness. So just type into this field 10:00. That's where I could cut or just drag this back like that. I'll zoom in my range so I can see a little closer. I'm going to use the option drag to duplicate it on top. Save often. So this top layer, I'm going to apply an effect to it. And so I need to go under the effects, warp. I'm going to do a wave warp. It's a fun effect. And let me turn off the background. So that's what wave warp is doing. It's animated. It's doing it based upon its own internal function to animate it. Let's explore. So under effects and controls, clicking on the top layer, clicking on the top layer, and right here is wave warp. So height, width, direction of the warp, speed, pinning, phase. So let's increase the speed. We want this to go a lot faster. Now that could be interesting undersea adventure type of title, but instead of using sign, I'm going to use square. All right, that's a lot more interesting than the previous version of this. So that's direction of 90. At 0, we'll see that it's going to go horizontal. That's cutting through. So depending on the type of look you're trying to go for, you choose 90 or any variation of that. The width is how big these cuts are. I'm going with a bigger cut like this, just because it looks a little more interesting when it's tiny. This might look great for a retro TV look. Something that you need to jitter and jump real quickly. Here, I want a bolder look. So I'm going to use bigger numbers like this. And the height is how big the separation is. And since we can animate these parameters, we can animate things coming together if we wanted to. But here, I'm just looking for a glitchy-like effect. All right, so how to get the glitchy-like effect? Well, we're almost there, actually. You know, the art of this is really the art of cutting, meaning I'll start with this top clip, and I'll move forward, let's say, 5 frames. I'll even zoom in closer, make it easier. I'll pick up the cut tool, and I'll cut here, and I'll cut here. So our game is only one thing is in existence. So if we're seeing the top clip, like this, let me pick up the select tool again. We're not going to see the bottom one. And then we could go down here. We don't have to keep it so strict of how many frames. So I just want to cut all these tracks at once. I'm holding the cut tool in hand. See it right here, C key. So if I hold down the shift key with the cut tool as my current tool selected, you see this long line comes out. And this means cut through all the tracks at once. So if I just click, it cuts all those tracks. So I can move forward, click, holding down the shift key, click. This way I don't have to care about any of those settings off to that side. I could just quickly move throughout. And so with this effect, as you can see, we're just chopping up our video. I'm going to select different portions, and you're going to get this pattern where top, bottom, over and over again. And we'll do a little more to this in a moment. So you can see where it's starting to jump up and down. Like that. And we could do a little more. When I say a little more, that means we could select one of these pieces, which is the top piece, and then I could go under the scaling for this. So if I select this, let me go here actually and select this one, move my playback head to this moment. Say that one's a little easier. And then we could just drag up this effect and even just move it and reposition it a little bit. So this way it's not always the same size. It jumps forward and retreats. Right? And so try to make all these little bits and segments a little special. So the viewer doesn't guess the pattern that you're going for. Now underlying all this is a pattern, up, down, again. So that makes you as an editor a little more productive and easier to protect your end results while adding little random moments to your design elements. And another random element that we can add, let's say to this one, maybe the next one would be a better use case for it. Let me cut this one. Down the shift key to cut through both. Throw away the bottom one. I'm going to throw away the top one for now. I could always mend it by dragging it over. Maybe on this one, besides just scaling it bigger and positioning it again, you also go under effects and you experiment with some other effects. How about that one that we've been using throughout the whole semester, tint? And we could apply tint up here. And of course, change white to whatever color you want to make it pop out for a second. Right? And you could go back and play with all these. Instead of each one being white, maybe you want them to be tinted. So dragging tint and picking a different color for the tint each time. Right, and so this way it adds a little interest. So I'm going to finish this up and put the two together in the next video.